Saturday afternoon. This bloke's walking around town doing his shopping. Suddenly, he starts screaming and shouting. I am sick of people in this town calling me a sheep shagger. Listen, I deliver milk to the local school. Nobody calls me the milk giver. I give clothes to the jumble sale. Nobody calls me the clothes giver. I help at the local community centre. Nobody calls me the community worker. I shag one sheep.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I've just heard we didn't get anything off the Smiley tape.
This just came through. I've been doing a bit of digging after a tip-off. 1979, Miss Edward Parker was accused of molesting a boy in his care when he ran a home for kids in Manchester. Case dismissed. Lack of evidence. Anthony Field. In 1986, indecent assault on a minor, case dismissed. Same Mr. Edward Parker again, this time running the Callaway Centre in Cardiff, another home for kids. Jason Baldwin.
What are you saying, that this Edward Parker's the same?
Yeah, could be Edward Parker Jones. Now, I've got the addresses of the two kids. I'll be up in Manchester and back again by tonight.
Manchester?
Yeah, cross over to Cardiff. Nice to get something on Parker Jones, eh? Dig a bit of dirt.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go.
You? I thought you'd want to be here.
No. Give me a chance to talk to Dalton. Richard, can I have a word with you?
I don't bloody believe this. I do all the legwork and she gets the day away.
OK, didn't have time this morning to do a briefing, so let's do it now and then crack on. Now, we all know that Jackson would have taken about 10 minutes from the advice centre to Vernon Reynolds' flat and back. Now, there are two possible routes, so Richard, I want you to get a team together, blanket the area. Any news on Jackson?
No, we haven't found him yet.
Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, go back to his old hunting ground, the stations. That's where you picked him up the first place, wasn't it? We've got a good motive now for Connie's murder, and we all know that it wasn't robbery. What are you muttering about, Bill?
Oh, I'm just saying it's pity about the Smiley tapes.
They're useless. Connie never named anyone, Gov, apart from Jackson. Just some clubs where he met his clients.
Yeah, no addresses as yet, but the clubs are Bowery Roof, Lola's, Judy's, and something sound like Puddles.
Poodles. It's called Poodles. The other two are gay bars, but the Bowery Roof is a very exclusive place. Lots of drag acts, transsexuals, transvestites. Most members are city types, professionals.
You're a bit well informed, aren't you? Only just got these.
I'm a member.
You're joking, Ray. That's not funny.
No, it isn't. I'm gay.
You took your time in telling us. I mean, I know it's your own private business.
I'll leave the team if that's what you want.
No, wait a minute. No, sit down. Now, listen, which of those clubs do you think are most likely to be frequented by...
Judges, MPs.
Police officers?
The Bowery.
You well known there?
No. It's very expensive. I've only been twice. But I do know one thing. Asking questions with the others in tow. Never get past the front door, and word would leak, so you'd never even get to the top brass, let alone ask some questions.
What about, access to membership lists?
No chance.
Shit.
Most of them use false names or coded names, even though what they're doing is perfectly legal. But if they are going with underage kids, that ups the ante even further on covering up. So who they are, be really hush-hush. I mean, they've really got to protect themselves. One hint of a leak, and they close ranks. Unless I could get the lads to drag up. Going that way, nobody pays any attention to them.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll pay to see that. Go and get some lunch. Oh, and tell Dalton to get his skates on, will you? We've got a train to catch.
Sure.
Thanks, Ray.
DCI Horsfall to interview room, please.
Only one name off the Smiley tapes. And it's your man, Miss Jackson.
I know. Lets you off the hook, doesn't it? Just a joke. Look, Jack, it may not be the time to talk about this, but it's got to be obvious to you that this case, it's opening right up. It's treading on Operation Contract's heels. I mean, look, it's my honest opinion that we should just cut our losses and concentrate on the murder investigation, because I'm getting information that goes a whole lot deeper than just a clean-up of street kids. I think Colin Jenkins was murdered to silence him because he was about to name the men involved in a paedophile ring.
And you think Parker Jones is involved?
Well, you know, he's been very helpful, very cooperative. I don't have a shred of evidence to link him with any paedophile ring, but the Advice Centre, along with a number of other venues...
And what about Jackson?
I think that he murdered Colin Jenkins. But...
But?
It's nothing.
You've got a real in Jackson, then. You've a very impressive career. Don't blow it. Charge Jackson and bury everything else.
You've not said anything, Bill. What do you think?
What, about him being an iron? Don't worry me. We had one at Southampton Row. He didn't last long.
See you in the pub, then.
Yeah.
Is it true?
What? I'm gay. Just don't believe in this day and age everybody's making such a big deal of it. What are you looking at me like that for?
Oh, I just don't understand. I thought I knew you.
You do?
Why?
You asking me why I'm gay? That's the way I am. Always have been.
Queer.
Yeah. Queer. I'm gay. I don't apologise for it. Look at you. The other two will come out with infantile, puerile cracks from now on.
I just don't believe it. Do you live with a bloke?
Do you?
Of course I bloody don't.
What difference does it make? My private life is just that. I don't poke my nose in yours. What gives you the right to ask about mine?
Because I work with you!
As a matter of fact, I do live with somebody. And I'm very happy. Thank you. Listen, I was gay before I met you. Didn't start touching you up. Propositioning you, did I? I respect you. Why don't you respect me? Now, back off.
I'm at Euston on my way to Manchester. Yeah, in Cardiff. Now, listen, I want a car followed. A dark blue Mercedes. Old four-door saloon. Yeah, I'll get the number to you. The suspect's name is James Jackson, okay? I want him held but not apprehended. Get Otley and Hall on him.
It's Larry Hall. Put me through device. We're outside Jackson's house now. Kathy, got anything on the house in Langley Road yet?
Look, I will call you back as soon as I've got anything, all right? Right.
What?
Billy Matthews. Madam wants him re-questioned about the Connie video. I mean, it's all very well us saying arrest him, but we've been doing that for the past year. I mean, he's only had 4 court appearances already. Yeah, Charing Cross Hospital, emergency ward.
Yes, got it. Edward Jones, property owned by an Edward Jones. First floor, Margaret Fuller. Second, a basement, Abdul...
Yeah, okay.
Unpronounceable. Got it flatlets.
Guess what?
What?
Billy Matthews discharged himself an hour after we left him there.
You know where I can get my batteries recharged? Just a minute. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, hello. Now listen, you can gain entry even on the suspicion that a minor is being held there. Well, I'm reporting it, okay?
It isn't about the bank, is it? Only Anthony's sure to be made assistant manager, and I just wonder...
Sorry to keep you waiting. Only just got in. Is the kettle on, Ma?
Yes, yes.
Well, when it whistles, I'll hear it, if you want to go listen to your programme.
Well,
Sorry. I got cold feet as you were late.
Sorry about that.
You don't need a warrant. Reason to believe you're holding a minor you've seen leaving Euston Station accompanied.
Bullshit. I know my rights now, piss off. You've got no warrant, you're on private property, and I have, as a citizen, a right to defend my property. Now, piss off.
You Mrs. Maureen Fuller?
Yes.
Oh, is this the juvenile I'm supposed to have prisoner?
Anybody up there? This is the police! Leave him alone. Just want to see the kids all right.
You want to break his arm?
She's up here.
Now get out of here! You're dead, Vera!
This is my dad and my little sister. They were killed in a car crash when I was 5. And after that, Mum had a nervous breakdown. That's why I was sent to the home.
Anthony, can you tell me about the court case? I know how difficult it is.
Really?
I need to know about the man who ran the home. You see, it's my belief that he's still...
At it? His name was Edward Parker. My case never even got to court.
Jesus. I've called an ambulance. The other kid's being taken in now. Vera wants to go.
I'm doing the club tonight. I go. I'm doing the cabaret. You won't get any sense out of him. Tell you anything just to stay here.
I'm okay, I'm okay.
You're not okay, Billy, love. You're not okay at all. Can I go?
Where's a bloody ambulance?
Said there'd be a 15-minute delay.
Don't leave me.
It's all right, Billy, lad.
a special nickname for me. Said that whenever he used that special name, it was a code. That was when he wanted me to go to his room.
And how long did this abuse go on for? Before you told anyone?
3 years. There was no one to tell. He always said that if I told anyone, I would have to eat my own feces. I got a letter from my mother. It said she was much better, so I ran away. I went to the police station and they called in a social worker. A woman. I had to tell her. It was very embarrassing.
How old were you then?
8, nearly 9. They took my statements and then a plainclothes police officer came into the room to question me.
Anthony, I really appreciate you telling us all this. Can you go on? Thank you.
This, a police officer, and never knew his name, he asked me if I knew what happened to little boys that tell lies. And then I said I was not telling lies. And he said, well, we will soon know. And, he undid my pants. And he did it to me. He said that if I told anyone, I would go to prison.
This police officer penetrated you? At the police station? Was anyone else present?
So, I said that I had been telling lies. Case dismissed. They sent me back to the home. I was there for another 2 years.
I sincerely believe the man who assaulted you...
I'm not interested in what you believe. I'm only interested in my life and my career. Whatever happens to him now is no longer my concern. I refuse to let him destroy my life.
But you'll let him destroy others?
No. You let him. I don't care about anyone else. If there was a court case, then I'd be forced to relive what that bastard did to me. Again. I only agreed to see you on condition that you didn't want me to go to court. I won't testify. And you can't make me.
So I told Halliday this morning, I said, look, I think we should just put Operation Contract quietly to bed. You worked on it for 6 months, didn't you?
I worked on it for 6 months. Doing surveillance on all the areas we targeted, right. On the night earmarked for the big swoop, Friday, we got less than we would have done on a wet Tuesday afternoon.
Listen, did you target Edward Parker Jones?
Why'd you ask that?
Well, look, I know you sent those faxes to Otley about the case, the one up here in Manchester, the other one in Cardiff.
Look, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I Xeroxed these before I left, just more or less to protect myself in case there was any shit. Dig into these. I think they go way back, maybe before me. Chiswick's the grand puppet master.
That's a whiskey upstairs.
I'd love one.
Toothbrush, toothpaste, and actually might need that. Some makeup remover.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very thoughtful of you. How much do I owe you?
Receipt in the bag.
This is Detective Chief Inspector David Lyle. David, this is Brian Dalton, Detective Inspector Dalton.
Pleased to meet you.
Likewise.
So, is your room okay?
Yeah, room's fine.
Good. Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, early, okay? Night.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't expect to stay the night.
There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
I hear very good things about you. You're not scared off anything. Well, I am. There's going to be lots of us demoted in our rank, and I know there's a superintendent vacancy coming up. So, you take these. I'm sorry, but I'm looking out for my future. This Sheehy inquiry's really put the flutter around. The only ones safe will be those with 30 years' experience, and I don't fancy being demoted. I worked hard enough for the DCI rank as it is.
So there was a leak? Tell me, what do you think of Bill Otley?
Good man. One of the old school, hard worker. Did he tell you that?
About the leak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon I've done my favour. Good luck to you.
Thanks, David. Where is that vacancy?
It's one of the Amit areas. Everybody can't go up, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Good night, love.
Good luck.
Thank you.
My wife's not going to believe this. I told her I was off duty.
It's that film, isn't it? Some Like It Hot. Tony Curtis and...
Jack Lemmon. It was dreadful. Silly walks. They'd never have got away with it. Anybody could see they weren't female.
That wasn't the point, though, was it? It was a comedy.
Well, for some, dear, being in drag is the only time they feel right. It is not funny at all. Is it?
Wouldn't know. How much those set you back?
A lot. Here, Red's here now.
I've not got much time before I go on, so let's make it snappy. One at a time. I don't know if I can get you in the back bar. It's jammed in there. Maybe you can work it yourselves.
We have a great favourite, a truly beautiful and talented act. Please welcome Miss Vera Reynolds.
I wanna be loved by you, just you, nobody else but you.
Come on, let's
I
mingle.
wanna be loved by you alone. Boop boopy doo. I wanna be kissed by you, just you, nobody else but you.
Are you crazy? Why? Why did you do it?
Because they asked me to.
Well, I'm out of here. If you've got any sense, you'd leave too.
But you've got another spot.
You do it.
I haven't even done my own yet.
They stick out like sore thumbs.
They don't.
They're asking everybody bloody questions.
I wanted to help. I thought you cared about Connie. Somebody killed him. You know it, I know it. You might be able to stomach what goes on.
Me? You live with that slime bag, Mark Lewis, not me. I've never been involved in it all. I've never wanted to know.
But you are involved, aren't you? You lied to me. I covered up for you, but all this stuff with the kids and Jackson...
I'm shagging up at his place because I've got nowhere else to go. You won't leave me alone until all this blows over. Now you've gone and got the cops in here. You think I done it, not you, me.
Red, those 2 queens are yours.
You've got another spot, Vera.
I'll do it.
Those 2 queens are yours. I just had a complaint. They'll have to go.
All right, I'll come clean. I don't know them. They latched onto me at Lola's club. They gave me a few quid to get them in. It's the truth, I swear before God. Now, can I have a bit of privacy? Me tits need readjusting.
Hey, Vera! I'm bloody protecting you, you slag! And you bring the filth into my house? Why'd you do that then, Vera?
It wasn't me. I swear before God, Jimmy, honestly, it wasn't me. I wouldn't, would I?
What?
I need you. Why would I tip off the law about you?
Who is it to do with then, eh? Is it Red? How much does he know? Hey? Where's Red?
I don't know. He's not on tonight. He had a cold. Staying at Mark Lewis's. It's the truth, Jimmy, honestly. That's how he knows everything.
Where the bloody hell were you?
What are you talking about? I was over there. What did you call out or something?
Have you got any handcuffs?
I'll take a wild guess.
Any boy.
Skipper, it's about Billy Matthews.
Is he dead?
No. He's got bronchial infection. He's in Charing Cross Hospital. The doctors said they won't treat him because he keeps discharging himself. Discharged himself last night, and he discharged himself on the 17th.
17th? Like Connie died, right?
Yeah.
Discharged himself. So he couldn't have been at the centre. Okay? Yeah, lovely. Parker Jones was very specific about our Billy. Alan Thorpe, he was too pissed to remember. We find those are the 2 lads. Jackson screwed, right? And Schamberger?
No, I'm knackered. Came off hours ago.
I'm on your back, see you tomorrow.
All right, mate.
I reckon he got a backhander. You know Billy Matthews? When he first come up, he was, what, 10? Connie nabbed Billy fast, didn't he?
You think Connie was paid for finding young kids then?
For the film's like.
They're all perverts. Big posh houses, lot of dough. Dirty bastards.
These scruffy buggers will never take the posh houses.
Yeah.
You two want to drive around in a Panda? Show me that posh house. 10 minutes for you. What do you say? Okay, come on.
Come on, this is the 5th road. Is it here or what?
That's the one. Has it got stone animals outside the gates? Connie said there were lions.
Good lad. Is there anything else?
I think the lad's pulling your leg, Sarge. This is Assistant Deputy Commissioner Kennington's home.
Try that.
He said Jason was known to the locals.
He's more than known. Spends more time in the cells than out.
Well, there's not much I can
He's
do.
a nice enough bloke when he's sober, but he's a nightmare when he's not. He's been had up for assault, petty crimes. Has a lot of marital troubles. She's always calling us in, but then withdraws the charges.
Okay. Well, the bad news doesn't even worth discussing. Haskins and Lily got dragged up. Don't even ask. But the good news is they brought in Jackson, and this time they can hold him.
Dragged up.
I said I don't want to talk about it. But there's another alibi down, Driscoll. He's admitted that he lied because Jackson threatened to beat him up if he didn't. What number is it?
63, 5th floor.
You're from Liverpool, right? And how old were you when you first went into the home?
Which one?
The one run by Edward Parker Jones.
10. I was sent there from a foster home. I went to a bit of thieving, so they got shot at me.
Are you prepared to act as a witness for the prosecution?
Sure.
Can you tell me when the sexual abuse started?
It was, third day I was there. Like, it just called us into his office, and then that was it. Started then. Like you could do or say anything about it. It was like it was a lord unto himself, you know. It wasn't just me, he was having us all. He'd give you a certain amount of fags, like it was 5 for a blowjob. I always knew when one of the lads had got all the way with him, he was flush with fags. You got one, by the way?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Keep the pack, I'm trying to give up. What made you report him?
Short changes on some fags, didn't he? So I thought, screw him. Went to the social worker. Bitch. She fancied him, you know. Used to get it off with women as well. Anyway, she went on and on to me. Did I know what I was saying, what it meant? I said, yeah, I know what it means to me. You don't do something about it and go to the cops.
And how old were you then?
Well, 12, 13.
And did you go to the cops?
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't leave us alone, would he? She wasn't going to do anything about it, so... went to the police station. Made a statement. They were all running around, like, asking all these questions, and then the doctor examined me, and... yeah, and then this copper gets me into his office, and then
And what happened then, Jason?
He said that if I said I was lying, he'd make it cushy for me, give me money, cigarettes, things like that. Said they'd move me somewhere nice.
Do you remember the police officer's name? Was he in uniform?
He was a friend of Parker's, wasn't he? They worked together. So anyway, they sent me back. Never got round to moving me. And then I became a very heavy smoker.
Do you remember the doctor's name? The one that examined you?
It's not going to help me much. Died of cancer, didn't he? Nice fella. His name was something...
Ellis.
Well, that's it for now, I think. Thanks very much. So, what are you doing now, Jason? Have you got a job?
No qualifications. 5-year-old kid reads better than I do. I do odd jobs around the place and fix up cars. I get drunk, like it. Sometimes I get a bit angry.
And then you get into trouble. Have you ever told anyone else about this?
There's no point, is there? You just have to live with it.
I promise you, we will do everything we can to put this man away. I promise you that, Jason.
You haven't got him, have you?
Not yet, no. Well, goodbye then, Jason. We'll be in touch.
You know, one night at the home, we was watching this documentary. It was a Nazi thing. And this fella in the concentration camp, you know what they are? Yeah, well, his name was the Angel of Death, right? And after the war, he escaped, right? He was never hanged. Nobody arrested him, nobody even brought him to trial. That's like Parker, isn't he? He did me for 8 years. He did everyone in his care. You know what we used to call him? We called him the Keeper of Souls.
Jason, look, go back upstairs. There's glass around. You're going to hurt yourself.
You want to see what the Keeper did to me?
The man who did this will pay for it, I promise you, Jason. Look, I promise you.
Just make it train.
Bronwyn, can you do a cross-check on this for me, please? Check with social services.
He'll live. Broken leg and hip bone, he's okay. His wife and kid, I sent a cab for them.
Okay. You know, Anthony and Jason, that's too much of a coincidence. I mean, if Edward Parker Jones moved on, maybe so did that police officer.
Any developments on Jackson? You said he'd been picked up.
Oh, no. How about you? Heard from that hospital yet?
No, not yet. Still waiting.
Oh, how long does it take?
I don't know. Don't know. What?
Well, when are you going to come clean, Brian?
What do you mean?
When are you going to tell me what a high flyer like you is doing attached to this investigation? I mean, look at you. You're university educated. You're fraud squad. You're hand in glove with Chiswick. I mean, I know you report back to him, for God's sake. Come on, you're my mate. You can tell me what's going on.
I have to report back to Commander Chiswick if and only if your investigation crosses another investigation.
Very good. All right, you've started now. So what investigation might that be?
It's about the blackmail of an assistant deputy commissioner. He was or had been on enforced leave for 8 months, 6 months previous to the blackmail threats. One of the most senior officers ever to be subject to disciplinary procedures. The matter was passed to the Home Office from Scotland Yard.
Well, who the hell is it?
Assistant Deputy Commissioner John Cunnington.
Well, what was going on before the blackmail? 8 months in forced leave, that's a long time. Must have been something big.
His possible involvement with a paedophile ring.
Jason Baldwin's social worker, Margaret Spiel. She's now based in
London. Thank you very much. Kennington.
Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you.
So, now what can I do for you, Chief Inspector?
Were you at one time working at Cardiff?
Yes. And in Liverpool. I also worked in Birmingham.
Was Edward Parker-Jones also working in Liverpool and Birmingham?
No.
Well, we can be thankful for that, can't we? Do you know Anthony Field? No? Well, what about Jason Baldwin? He was one time a resident.
Yes. I remember Jason.
Do you have a close relationship with Edward Parker-Jones?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, yes, it is, Margaret. It's very much my business. Jason tried to kill himself right in front of me this afternoon. He's prepared to make a statement that when he was in the care of Edward Parker-Jones, he was sexually abused for a period of 6 years, and that you, at that time, were his social worker. You were Jason Baldwin's social worker, weren't you, Margaret? You were Jason's social worker.
Yes.
Are you aware of these allegations? Were you aware of them when you were working in Cardiff?
Jason was always telling lies. He was a compulsive liar.
10-year-old boy, Margaret. You refused to believe him, and he had 6 more years of abuse.
God. This is not true. If I'd have believed for one moment...
Oh, you believe it, Margaret. So, do you know Colin Jenkins?
No. I was telling the truth. I swear I didn't even come here till 18 months ago. Edward contacted me. He even tried to renew our relationship. Are you sure? I mean, these young boys, they're always making up stories. I remember Jason...
Do you recall a doctor? Did a doctor examine Jason Baldwin?
Oh, yes, of course he was examined.
Do you remember a police officer? One who was close with Edward Parker-Jones?
You mean John Kennington?
Yes, yeah, it could be John Kennington. Do you remember if he was plain clothes or in uniform? What rank was he?
I think he was a superintendent. I never saw him in uniform.
Do you know if this John Kennington is still in touch with Edward Parker-Jones?
Yes, I think so.
Is there anyone in this building who knows where Detective Chief Inspector Tennison is?
She's on her way back from Cardiff. Expect her any moment now, boss.
And you two, as far as I am concerned, have behaved in an utterly farcical manner, one which would, if ever it were made public, put not only myself but this entire department in jeopardy.
In your office?
Just tell me in God's name what possessed you to do it.
Well, we brought Jackson in, sir. I mean, he is still the prime suspect for the
Sorry,
murder
I'll be
of
right
Colin
with you.
Jenkins.
D.S. Haskins, D.C. Lilly. You will return to Southampton Row as from tomorrow evening. D.I. Ray Hebden will leave today. Hey! Get that crap
down. Naughty boys.
Well, this must be worth a bundle. Kennington didn't buy this in his wages.
Happens to be my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm Detective Chief Inspector Jane Tennison, and this is Detective Inspector Dalton. That's Brian Dalton.
So what seems to be the problem?
We're making inquiries into the death of a young boy, Colin Jenkins. Did you know him, sir? Do you know James Jackson?
No.
Anthony Field?
No.
Jason Baldwin?
No. What are you doing here, Chief Inspector?
Do you know Edward Parker Jones?
No, I can't say that I do.
You were at one time stationed in Manchester, I believe, and before that you were in Cardiff. Is that correct? Did you at any time come across a social worker called Margaret Spiel?
No, I'm sorry, I don't recall the name.
Just before your recent resignation, sir, you were about to instigate charges. Could you tell me what they were?
What exactly is this inquiry about, Chief Inspector?
Please just answer the question, sir.
I have no inclination to answer anything else. And I'd appreciate it if you would leave my house.
Maybe you would recollect Colin Jenkins. Sometimes he was called Connie. He would have been about 15 years old when you knew him. He was about my height. He had red hair. He was a practicing homosexual.
Will you both leave now?
It's just that I noticed that you have pictures of young boys here, sir.
Those are my sons. Will you please leave my house?
Is Colin Jenkins blackmailing you? Edward Parker Jones putting pressure on you? Which one of them was blackmailing you? Were you aware that Colin Jenkins was selling his story to the papers? I'm sorry. John? Mrs. Kennington, I am... Please. Mrs. Kennington, your husband was just answering some questions. I'm investigating the death of a young boy, just 17 years old. He was a rent boy. His name was Colin Jenkins. Maybe you read about it. Hey, Mike. Do you fancy a drink?
Sorry, not late as it is. Nothing wrong, is there?
No, I just want to have a word with you. What do you know about John Kennington?
Well, he just got his golden handshake. Why?
Is he homosexual?
I don't know. Why do you ask?
Well, I think that he might be involved in this murder case that I'm on.
Murder? I thought you were on Vice.
It's the murder of a rent boy.
Look, sorry, Jane, there's nothing I can tell you.
Mike, look, they're young kids. 12, 13 years old. I mean, they're the same age as your kids, for Christ's sake.
Do I have to spell it out for you?
Yes, you do.
If you start digging the dirt on John Kennington, it'll be a waste of time. Now, he may no longer be a big fish, but he sure as hell's got lots of friends who are. The whisper will get out, you'll drop the word, and you won't get near them. And you won't help the kids, and the punters will still be there. They'll all still be there, out on the street. But back off this one, Jane. Kennington's out of the force. Ignore it. That is the best, the only advice I can give you.
Well, thank you for your advice. Oh, incidentally, Mike, you know there's that superintendency up for grabs? Amit, you happen to know which area that is?
So you're going to become a player, are you? But Good night.
Night.
Can I just say something? Well, apologise, really. I just wanted you to know that I didn't really have much say in the matter, and I'm sorry, and I don't know where I am. I'm in some kind of limbo. I can't sleep. My girlfriend. I hadn't told her. I'm too scared to have sex with her. It's just, this whole thing kind of, hanging over us.
Listen, anyone would feel like that.
What if I've got AIDS? I'm sorry. Sorry. Shit. Sorry.
Listen, I think you should talk to someone.
Yeah.
I mean, someone who understands.
Yeah.
You should go with your girlfriend.
Okay.
I've got some contact numbers. I'll give you the numbers as soon as possible, all right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Got Parker Jones in room 2.
What? He's here? Whose bloody idea was that?
Mine. We found some kids that recognised property where we picked up Jackson. It's owned by Parker Jones.
What?
Jackson's been living in a house owned by Parker Jones. It's all there, full report.
Look, who's interviewing him?
Haskins and Lily.
Oh,
Well, as you weren't here, we couldn't contact you. Just been trying to close the case.
Oh, no. I know what you're doing, Bill. And you know something? You're just not good enough. I did not want Parker Jones brought in yet.
Got a reason?
Yeah, I'm not ready for him.
Why exactly have I been brought in? And why wasn't all this asked before? I've been perfectly willing to cooperate in all your inquiries. Detective Chief Inspector.
The time is 18:30 and DCI Tennison has just entered the interview room.
Mr. Parker Jones, could you tell me about your relationship with Margaret Spiel?
She's my fiancée.
Did you in 1979 run the Harrow Home for Boys in Manchester?
Yes.
And in 1986 the Callaway Centre in Cardiff?
Yes.
Do you know Anthony Field?
Yes.
Jason Baldwin?
Yes, they were both in my care.
Do you know a John Kennington?
Yes. Not well, but I have met him.
Will you tell me about one of your employees, James Jackson?
Well, I wouldn't call it employed exactly. He does, on the odd occasion, do some repairs for me. Caretaking, that sort of thing.
How well do you know Mr. Jackson?
I've already told you, I don't know him on a personal or social level. He simply does the occasional odd job for me, that's all.
But he lives in one of your properties, Mr. Parker Jones.
Yes, I have admitted this. I pay Jackson a nominal amount, and in return, he repairs the property. I have no reason to know what he does in his personal life. I'm not even sure if he lives on the property on a permanent basis. As he told me, he has an elderly mother he takes care of and spends a lot of time with.
How many names are you known under?
I have 2 houses in the name of Edwards and 1 in the name of Jones. I have on occasion used both of them.
And why do you use different names on the deeds of your properties?
I just do. There's no law against it.
like to tell me about the 2 sexual assault charges, one in Manchester and one in Cardiff?
Not really. In both incidents, all the charges were dropped. I see no reason to discuss them now.
Did John Kennington assist or advise you in any way concerning these charges?
No, I don't recall.
Have you ever attempted to get monies from John Kennington?
What?
Extortion, blackmail. Did you ever attempt to get monies?
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
Are you aware that John Kennington was bringing charges against...
I would certainly not attempt to extort monies from someone who has freely donated to my centre. I have presented a detailed list, as requested, of all those who forward charitable donations to the centre. I presume this information was passed on to you.
Did you call the emergency services on the night of the 17th?
I'm sorry?
An ambulance. Did you call an ambulance on the night of the 17th?
No.
Would you please state where you were on the night of the 17th between the hours of 8:15 and 9:30?
I have already told you I never left the advice centre. This is really becoming ludicrous.
Is it? Are you aware that it is illegal to display false credentials? So would you tell me the names of all the witnesses that you say saw you at the advice centre for the duration of the evening of the 17th?
Billy Matthews, David Driscoll, Alan Thorpe, Kenny Lloyd, and James Jackson.
I think I deserve a bottle of champagne because Billy Matthews' alibi is now withdrawn. Billy was not at the advice centre or anywhere near. He was, in fact, in hospital, taken there by ambulance on the night of the 17th, and this is the best bit, from the advice centre.
Marty Fletcher's dead.
Disco Driscoll, alibi withdrawn. Kenny Lloyd, alibi withdrawn. Just Jackson giving Parker Jones an alibi and vice versa. Well, the only other person is Alan Thorpe, but he was drunk, he admitted it.
Now, where's Jackson?
It's with the sergeant, Harry the Lamb, room 3.
Right, that's a bottle of Moe for Kathy. And you two are paying because of this fiasco.
Oh, bloody hell. Who put those up?
What did Connie owe you the money for?
He needed some photographs. He needed to get some new gear. Well, that's what he told me, so I lent him the dough.
How much? 726 DCI Tennison's just entered the interview room.
200 quid. Then he disappeared, so I go out looking for him.
You go to Vernon's flat looking for him?
Yeah, but in the afternoon. I spoke to Vera, she was there.
She told you what?
That Connie wasn't there. I've told you all this. I've said all this.
Did Edward Parker Jones ask you to say that you were at the advice centre?
No.
Why didn't you tell me about the money? Did you often lend Connie money?
No. He usually had enough. He was always pretty flush. I mean, sometimes I borrowed from him.
So when exactly did you give him this 200 quid?
I don't remember, I'm sorry.
Can't remember. Was Connie living in the house in Camden Town?
Sometimes left his gear there, but he'd not actually lived there for months.
Do you know where he was living, say, for the past couple of months?
No. I don't know where he was living.
Well, where did you give him the money, then?
Oh, yeah, at the advice centre.
Oh, no. Edward Parker Jones said he hadn't seen him at the advice centre for at least a few months.
I don't remember where I gave it to him. I'm sorry. Really. Just don't remember.
So how well do you know Edward Parker Jones?
I work for him. He pays me a few quid to look after his property.
Did you ever try and extort money out of a man called John Kennington? Extortion? Know what that means? Blackmail? Did you ever try and blackmail John Kennington?
No, I don't know him.
So, on the night that Connie died, did you discuss anything with Edward Parker Jones?
Yeah. The price of toilet paper. I'll get it in bulk for him.
And after Connie died, did you discuss anything with Edward Parker Jones apart from the price of toilet paper?
Like what?
Well, look. You stated that, what have we got here? David Driscoll, Billy Matthews, Alan Thorpe and Kenny Lloyd all saw you at the advice centre the night that Colin died. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you've listed the exact same names as Edward Parker Jones. So I'm asking you again, did you or did you not discuss it with Mr. Parker Jones?
Oh, no. There's no reason to. They were there and so was he. So he's bound to say the same lads as I say because I was there. See?
You're going to be charged with the attempted murder of a police officer. You also refused another officer entry to the house in Camden Town and physically attacked another police officer. You were holding a 14-year-old girl against her will. Now, do you want any more, Jimmy? Because we've got more.
I didn't know there were coppers, I swear. I mean, they just barged into the house. And that girl is not going to press charges because she begged me to give her a place to stay. She begged me. I didn't know she was 14. And that other thing, I thought that was Red, that thick old drag queen. I didn't know that was a copper. It's just mistaken identity.
Well, why did you want to kill her?
I didn't want to kill her. No way. I just wanted to frighten her a bit.
Why?
Well, Vera told me she'd been talking to the cops, and all I wanted to do was frighten her off.
Well, why? Why did you want to frighten Rodney Allerton? That's Red.
Because I did. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was all a mistake.
Oh, James, you must have had a reason.
No. No, I didn't have a reason. That's the God's honest truth.
Well, you were going to go to prison for a very long time. For no reason at all.
My client's very tired. Perhaps we can continue this interview in the morning.
Look forward to it. After you.
Yeah, he must have had letters, diaries, something. He was telling his story to that woman. What was her name?
Jessica Smythe. I mean, what if Jessica Smythe spoke to Martin Fletcher before Connie? I mean, she was writing a piece about rent boys, plural, not just one rent boy.
What we got here? Yeah. Nice little away day assortment.
Look at this. I want forensic in here. I want the whole house checked out, and I want it done tonight.
Yeah, I think we should have another go at our beer. She has been staying there. I'll wait for forensic. It might be a while yet.
It's my case, Bill. Don't jump the gun again.
Your case, yes, ma'am.
Right, I've got a couple of little bits and pieces on Edward Parker Jones. He owns a number of bed and breakfasts, stroke houses, all registered under the company name of Protega.
You spell that, please?
Protega. He's a registered charity. He's got a staff of 4.
All paid.
All paid.
Glad to see you're still with us.
His annual running costs are around 120,000. He receives loads of grants. He gets one from Camden at 160,000.
The doctor attached to the Callaway Centre in Cardiff is widowed, Joyce Ellis. She's 52, has 2 sons. In 1987, he was married to John Kennington.
As well as that, he gets £110 per person from local authorities. Is that per week?
Decided to change sides, have you?
Thank
you very much.
You have not one shred of evidence against Parker Jones or his involvement in the death of
Colin Jenkins. No, I haven't got him to admit his involvement. But I know that he's covering up for Jackson. And very possibly for John Kennington as well.
Drop it.
Are you serious? In 1979 and again in 1986, both Edward Parker Jones and John Kennington
I'm
were...
fully aware of the cases you're referring to.
Well, then you should have made whatever information you had available to me. I have wasted a considerable amount...
Waste being the operative word, Chief Inspector. You were supposed to be investigating
the murder of Colin Jenkins. And if I discover evidence that proves that Edward Parker Jones
that is not
unfit
the Colin
to be
Jenkins
awarded
case.
massive grants from 4 different councils and is a possible paedophile...
Is this true?
Chief Inspector Tennison, you give me no option but to warn you that if you continue to investigate persons...
No, not persons, just one person.
Against
Parker
specific
Jones.
instructions, then disciplinary action will be taken.
Take it, sir, and I will fight you every inch of the way. I have been fobbed off with stay clear of this or that person's because of, and I quote, repercussions to this department. Well, this department has blatantly attempted to sabotage my investigations into a murder which has direct links to a paedophile ring, one member of which, John Kennington, was the subject of a full-scale internal police inquiry.
John Kennington was reinstated.
Yes, 6 months later he's being blackmailed. Case dismissed. What happened? You'll get cold feet, retire him, pay him off, and somewhere in the mess a young boy dies?
Just calm down. Look at it from our side. The investigation into John Kennington...
was a failure, and to the tune of £1.5 million. Next, Operation Contract. Bloody fiasco that was. How much did that set the government back? I mean, you knew there was a leak. Well, was it John Kennington?
Be very careful what you're insinuating.
Look, I just want to find the murderer of Colin Jenkins. If that touches on Edward Parker Jones or anyone else, then so be it. I take full responsibility. You can lay it all on my shoulders, but I will not be a scapegoat. If you take me off this case now, I'm warning you, I won't go quietly.
Don't make threats, Detective Chief Inspector.
I want to be put forward for superintendent. Now, I fully expect to make an arrest in the Colin Jenkins murder this weekend. And therefore, with the case closed, there will be no further necessities for any investigations into John Kennington. Did James Jackson kill Connie? Vera, he can't hurt you. He's going to be behind bars for a very long time. Come on, you can tell me.
I don't know.
Do you know a John Kennington? Vera. Vera, look at me. You've got to help me. Jackson was looking for Connie that night. He said he owed him money.
Connie didn't need to borrow money from Jackson. He always used to have money.
Did you know any of his clients?
No. He was very secretive about them. Well, you give one kid a name, next minute they're offering themselves. You think he was just gay, don't you? Why do you think we got on so well?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
He was the same as me. He'd go with gays, but he liked straight men better. He wanted money. He needed a lot for the operation. They do the best in Rio. He would have had to pay for it, you see. There's no way that the NHS would give him the operation. He was too young. It's always been my dream.
So Connie needed a lot of money. Say, what, 10, 15,000 quid? Where was he going to get that from?
Connie was capable of anything.
Like blackmail?
Yes. I think he got scared off. He was getting a bit desperate. He'd lost a lot of his big money clients. He was too old for them. Kept knocking a few years off his age, they knew.
Do you know Jessica Smythe? So you know that Connie was selling his story to the papers?
But I think, you know, she kept stringing him along and promising big money. He used to brag about it. But she wanted evidence, you know, names, photographs. Photographs.
Did James Jackson know about this?
When he found out, Connie had a sort of a file, you know, to show this reporter. He found out. Martin Fletcher stole some things from Jackson.
Oh.
And gave them to Connie. That's why Jackson was looking for Connie.
Oh, right.
But not just to get these things back. Because he knew that if Connie was selling his story to the papers, he'd been it too. Connie had been one of his boys, you see, early on.
What? You mean it was Jackson who got Connie on the game?
Yes.
Oh.
But he got him so young. He was only 10 years old when Jackson found him.
Did you see what Martin got from Jackson? You know, the thing he eventually gave to Connie?
No, I never saw. I mean, he told me, but it was pictures, photographs, maybe letters, I don't know. But I never saw what Martin nicked from Jackson. But that's why Martin got beaten up, because Jackson wanted the stuff back.
So Connie had told you about this stuff that Martin had got from Jackson, and he told you that he was going to use it, sell it to the papers. Did he tell you who he was going to blackmail with it?
No, but he was kind of excited, you know. He was very pleased with himself. He said he was going to get the money for his operation. He was very certain.
Thank you, Vera. All right, you can go now.
Hello, Margaret. How are you?
I intend to report you. Get you blacklisted from every council and government-run scheme that you've abused.
What do you mean?
I trusted you. I may even have helped you. That's what's worst. Worse than any of the lies you've told me.
Who's been talking to you, Margaret?
Don't touch me.
Look, come in and let's just talk this through.
She knows everything about you and about John Kennington. And before I've finished, you'll go to prison.
Margaret, you don't know what you're talking about. This is from that Inspector Tennison, yes? You don't understand, Margaret.
Yes, I do.
Shut up! And just keep calm, Let me explain. Helen, will you come into the
Don't you
television?
touch him! Get off him! Get out! This place is closed! Get out now! You bastard! You bastard! That's yours! That's your doing! You bastard! You bastard! That's you! Bastard! You bastard! Get out!
Mrs. Kennington, Edward Parker Jones. Can I speak to John, please?
You bastard!
So you were told by Martin Fletcher where Connie was. You then went to Vernon Reynolds' flat, didn't you?
I didn't. I've admitted I was looking for Connie, but I wasn't the only one.
Oh, well, who else? Who else was looking for Connie the night that he was murdered? Come on, Jimmy, it's just 5-10 minutes walk from the advice centre and back.
I never killed him. I couldn't have.
You had to silence him, didn't you, eh? He was going to tell about the way you kidnap underage kids. The room at the top of the house. We've seen them. The knives, the chains, the whips, you bastard!
So did you torture kids up there? You know, we have to date 15 different blood samples taken from the walls, bed linen, floorboards. What were you doing to those children? Mr. Jackson, I really would try to be as cooperative as possible. You know, these charges against you are very serious.
Look, I did go to the centre, right? I told Parker Jones I couldn't find him, right? Martin Fletcher took my stuff from the house.
What stuff?
Stuff. Things, photographs. And I wanted them back. Right?
What, were you in these photographs?
Some of them. Like Connie had nicked them. He got Martin to get them for him from Camden, right? You with me?
Well, who else was in the photographs?
I can't remember.
Can't remember? You almost killed a boy for them. You can't remember? Come on, who else was in the photographs? Was Edward Parker Jones in these photographs?
No.
How about John Kennington? Was he in the photographs?
Just kids. Blokes dressed up, bit of porno, that's all. Anyway, it gets to about 8, a bit after, And I tell Parker Jones I can't find Connie, and he says go and get Martin Fletcher, who know where he was. So I did. Ask Martin Fletcher, he'll tell you.
Martin Fletcher is dead, Jimmy. So Edward Parker Jones was looking for these photographs. Well, why? If he wasn't in them, why was he looking for them?
I don't know. All I know is he wanted them. And so did I.
Yeah, but you were in the photographs. So are you sure that Edward Parker Jones wasn't in these photographs?
No, I don't have any pictures of him.
What about John Kennington? Was he in the photographs?
No, I've told you before, I don't even know that bloke.
So they were just photographs of you, and you wanted them so desperately that you were prepared to kill for them.
Look, when that fire started, I was on the other side of Waterloo Bridge.
Who else was at the advice centre when you went there?
I was only there 2 minutes, no more, then I come out.
Just 2 minutes? You sure about that? So who else did you talk to apart from Edward Parker Jones? Anyone else?
Yeah. Vera Reynolds.
Vera Reynolds. You're right.
He shot himself, not me. You were here yesterday, weren't you?
Yes, do you want me to leave?
But then you'd only want to come back. So, ask whatever you want to, get it over with. I was in the front bedroom. We sleep in separate rooms. There was a phone call. I put it through to John's study. About half an hour later, I heard the... Well, I didn't know what it was. To be honest, I thought it was the plumbing. It's been making extraordinary noises. Of course, it wasn't. John had shot himself.
Do you know who the call was from?
Oh, yes, I know who it was from. It was, Edward Parker Jones. At least this saves me getting a divorce. There have been obstacles in the way for almost a year.
Yes, I know about the investigations.
Oh, do you?
Mrs. Kennington, you used to be a doctor, didn't you?
Mm.
Do you still practice?
No. My first husband died. We worked together, or in the same practice.
In Cardiff?
Yes, in Cardiff. Why do you want to know about my husband's practice?
While you were in Cardiff, was Edward Parker Jones running the
Callaway Centre? Why are you asking me these questions?
Did you examine a young boy called Jason Baldwin? It was a sexual assault charge.
Which was subsequently dropped. No, my husband examined him. Oh, my God. You think I had something to do with that? My husband was critically ill. He was very sick. I had 2 small children, and he had cancer. I only remember because he died. And then there was this investigation about this boy. But there was so much confusion. Whether his reports were stolen or just mislaid, I really don't know. My first husband was a very decent human being.
Do you know if any young boys were ever brought here?
Did I know if young boys were ever brought here?
I mean, while you were away. There's one boy in particular that I'm interested in. His name was Connie. Colin Jenkins. Do you recognize him? Mrs. Kennington, would you please look at the photograph?
At least I was able to protect my own sons.
Let me know when you want to see Jessica Smythe. She's just arrived. Oh. Was it right you wanted Vernon Reynolds to bring him back in? Only we just released him?
Yes. Oh, and watch Alice in Wonderland. Remember, she's a journalist. Stick her in one of the interview rooms.
Right.
Yes, hello. Could I speak to Dr. Gordon, please? It's Jane Tennison. Dr. Gordon, I'm sorry to disturb you at home. I wanted to talk to you as soon as possible. No. It's just that I would like to arrange a termination, please. Yes, I am aware that it's a very big decision, but Yes, I obviously have given it a great deal of thought. I want an abortion. Yes, I know. Right. I'll call you next week to arrange a time and a date. Okay. Goodbye. Bill, would you just give me a moment or two of my own?
Sure.
Choose them yourself, do you?
No, my girlfriend does.
I'd get rid of her if I were you.
Shit! Shit! And you lied to me. You never at any time said that you were near that advice centre. Why, Vernon?
If I was gone with you...
Oh, stop playing games with me. Did you or did you not, on the night that Connie died, see Jackson?
Yes.
And what time did you get to the advice centre?
About 8:30.
8:30. Where was Connie?
In the flat.
Alone? Well, your friend Red is now in trouble, isn't he? Because he swore on oath that you were at your friend's studio at
6:30 it was. Yes, he never knows the time. Then I went to the club just as he said.
When you left your flat, was Connie there? Suspect nodded his head. Was he alone? Suspect shook his head. Well, who was with Connie when you left your flat at 6:30?
A journalist. I tried. I told you, I gave you all the clues. It was me who said the advice then. He even said Parker Jones's name. It was me who told you about Jackson, me who told you about the press. I went back to the flat because I'd forgotten a sequin choker. Connie was still there. And he was showing her my album. She was looking at my photographs. You don't understand, do you? There were some loose pictures of me before. My mum and my dad. Private pictures, no show business ones. Just my mum and my dad and my brother. Enough. I don't ever see them, so the pictures are very special to me. After all I'd done for him, he was selling me too. I didn't want to make a drama, not in front of the press woman. So I just called him out of the room. I said I wanted to talk to him. He swore he wasn't letting her have a single picture. She left a few minutes later. I went in to check my album. He lied. There were a lot missing. So I confronted him and he swore to me he hadn't given her anything, said she must have stolen, but he was such a liar. I got hysterical and I hit him with an ashtray thing. He fell down. So I didn't mean to hurt him. I helped him to the sofa. He gave me one of his smiles, and it's such a sweet smile. And he closed his eyes. I couldn't feel a pulse in him. He was dead.
Did you call an ambulance?
My telephone's not working. I told Mr. Parker Jones.
He said what? What did he say?
He said he would take care of everything.
Did he?
I was put in prison when I was not that much older than Connie. That's what I'm scared of. Inside, they're all Jacksons. I was raped every night. That's what I've been so scared of. I wanted to tell you, but I was just so scared. I need to go to the toilet.
We are terminating this interview at 3:45 in interview room 2. Mr. Vernon Reynolds needs to use the toilet. Could you take him to the toilet, please?
Can't you take him to the ladies? Just pretended to like me.
fella, love!
Oh. Who's in there? Helen Mirren. He's just admitted to smacking Colin Jenkins. I just finished questioning him. So it wasn't Jackson after all.
Let's cut his wrists. I need to call an ambulance.
All right. Cut his wrists. Jesus.
Vera, listen to me. Hold
Sorry.
on. Vera, hold on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all right. She's losing a lot of blood. Hurry up!
I'm sorry.
Listen. You didn't kill Connie. She died in the fire.
15-minute delay on the ambulance call out.
Get a car organised.
Get one for me, too.
He died in the fire. It was the fire that did it.
I've been here since 2:30. I want to go to the ladies. You have no right to waste my time.
Oh, I have every right, and I will keep you here as long as I wish. You have lied. You have withheld vital evidence, and you, Miss Smythe, have wasted my time. You want the ladies? Come with me.
I only made 2 tapes. I swear before God, just 2 tapes. I never mentioned... I know I should have told you about me being at the flat.
Did you take anything from his flat? Did you?
Yes. There were just some snapshots. Nobody famous, just a few black and white photographs and drag acts. Nobody
So,
famous.
apart from the photographs that you took, did Connie give you anything?
Nothing. Nothing. Just some story about being picked up when he was 10 or 11. I'm beginning to think he made that up.
Come with me.
I tried to contact you. You know I did. It's not as if I didn't attempt.
Stop with the Doris Day act. It's getting on my nerves.
The car's ready when you are.
Right, get Kathy to get in touch with emergency services. Check if there was a 15-minute delay on the night of the 17th, quick as you can, all right?
Okay.
Right. Miss Smythe, tell me about Martin Fletcher.
He was the first boy I approached. He introduced me to Connie. It became obvious that, well, Connie would make a better story. We were worried Martin was too young.
Martin Fletcher is dead. Did you know that? Right, so you drop Martin Fletcher and you offer Connie money. Did you give him the money in Vernon Reynolds' flat?
Yes. He put it in his pocket. He said it wasn't enough. He said he wanted more.
All right, and what happened then?
I said I couldn't give him any more. Not until I at least saw what he had to offer.
Well, did he give you anything? Any pictures, any names, anything?
No.
What happened next?
He left the room for a minute, and there was this album on the coffee table.
Vera Reynolds' album. Yes?
They were just photos of a family. A couple of somebody in drag. They were no use. They meant nothing.
No, you're wrong, Miss Smythe. They meant a great deal to someone. Enough to make him pick up a heavy ashtray and hit Connie over the head with it. Oh, you have a great deal to answer for. Will you take Miss Smythe and bring her back with Vernon Reynolds' photographs?
Are you going to charge me with anything?
We'll see about that.
Emergency services have said there was a 15-minute delay that night and all callers were informed that that was the case.
I've got him. And this time I'm ready for him. Let's go.
I hope you're satisfied you've emptied the place.
Mr. Parker Jones, I'm arresting you on suspicion of involvement in the murder of Colin Jenkins. You do not have to say anything, but if you wish to, what you say may be used in evidence.
You all set?
I think so.
You better nail him.
I intend to.
I told you I had names. Very important people. High up people. Very important people. Because if they found out I was doing this, then they'd kill me. Very important people. High up people. High up people. Very important.
Good luck, Gov.
Mr. Parker Jones, you have stated that on the evening of the 17th you were at the Advice Centre, Soho. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you please tell me who else was present that evening?
Billy Matthews.
Statement withdrawn. Matthews denies being at the centre.
David Driscoll.
Statement withdrawn. Driscoll denies being at the centre.
Alan Thorpe.
Alan Thorpe says that he was at the centre, but that he was not only intoxicated, but also suffering from substance abuse and was, in his own words, unable to remember whether he was there himself.
James Jackson.
Mr. Jackson has made a statement contradicting an earlier statement. He now says under caution that he was at the centre, but for no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Do you have any other alibi witnesses you wish to have recorded at this time?
My client will answer.
I realize I have been very foolish. I can only apologize and say I was in some way trying to protect Vernon Reynolds. Vernon was at the centre on the 17th.
Did you speak to Vernon Reynolds?
No comment.
Did Vernon Reynolds ask you to call an ambulance?
No comment.
Mr. Parker Jones, we are in the possession of a tape recording. It's a phone call made to the emergency services on the evening of the 17th. Now, it will be very simple for us to match the voice on the tape with yours, so did you or did you not call an ambulance on the evening of the 17th?
Yes, I did call an ambulance. Vernon was in a dreadful state. I said that Colin Jenkins and he had argued and that Colin needed a doctor. I placed a call with the emergency services.
And what did the emergency services tell you?
That the ambulance was on its way.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Why didn't you leave your name?
Well, because the Advice Centre has had, on occasion, to place emergency calls, and then when the ambulance arrives...
Did the emergency services tell you that there would be a 15-minute delay?
I don't remember.
Now, would you agree that Vernon Reynolds' flat is only about a 2-minute walk from the Advice Centre?
Yes.
So if you had been informed that there was a 15-minute delay...
I was unaware of any delays.
Why didn't you call a doctor? Why didn't you make that short journey yourself?
Well, because I couldn't leave the centre unattended, and at no point did Vernon make it clear that it was an emergency. I was asked to phone an ambulance, which I did. I admit that I lied to you about that, but I was just trying to prevent Vernon Reynolds from getting into trouble.
Do you have any further questions you wish to put to my client?
Yes, I do. Mr. Parker Jones, you've apologized for lying. You lied about the 4 witnesses you said saw you at the advice centre on the evening of the 17th. Now, one of those witnesses was Billy Matthews. Is that correct?
Yes, but you must understand that on any given evening, there could be up to 20, 25...
Yes, but you were most specific about Billy Matthews. I mean, the reason you said you recalled him was because he was ill.
Yes.
But it now transpires that Billy Matthews was not at the advice centre that night. He was, in fact, in Charing Cross Hospital.
I'm sorry, I just must have confused the evening.
Really? Even though you called an ambulance for him? I mean, that would have been on the evening of the 16th. On that occasion, you did leave your name. And on that occasion, you were informed that there would be a 15-minute delay. Is that not correct?
It's possible.
Oh, it's possible. Well, then it's also possible that the following evening when you called an ambulance, you would already know that there was a 15-minute delay, giving you time to leave the advice centre and go to Vera's flat, did you? Did you go to Vernon Reynolds' flat?
No, I did not.
Mr. Parker Jones, are you aware of the existence of certain photographs belonging to Mr. James Jackson?
No comment.
And that in these photographs, you are pictured with the deceased Colin Jenkins?
No comment.
And that you are also photographed in various poses with other juveniles? And that these photographs were taken from your house in Camden Town?
No comment.
Oh, I think that you knew of the existence of these photographs. And you knew that Connie Jenkins was selling them, didn't you?
No comment.
So you had James Jackson searching all over London, desperate to track them down, desperate to track Connie down, but you couldn't find him, could you?
No comment.
And then Vera came to you, as you said, in a dreadful state, saying that the very person you were looking for was not only in her flat, but was also unconscious, alone, and with those photographs.
No comment.
So you said you'd arrange everything, didn't you? You said that you would even call an ambulance. No comment again, Mr. Parker Jones. You've already admitted that you were aware of the delays. So you used that 15 minutes, didn't you? You ran from the advice centre, you went to Vera's flat. Connie wasn't dead, was he? He was still alive, just semi-conscious. So you made sure that he would never be able to tell anyone about you and your friends, Mr. Parker Jones. So easy, wasn't it? He couldn't do anything. He couldn't fight back. He couldn't stop you as you set light to him. You left him to burn to death.
No comment. Good night, Inspector Tennison. Which is the way out?
Without a witness who actually saw person or persons unknown set a light to that flat, you'll never have a case.
So, this blew my chances for superintendent.
Oh, no. No, you'll get it. No strings.
Just like a Smiley's back.
Still looking for a scoop, Miss Smythe?
I'm paid to expose the truth. It's my job. A bit like yours.
No, your job isn't anything like mine. But it is criminal that a man like Edward Parker Jones is allowed to gain access to young children, and all with the blessing of the social services.
What did you ask for, Gav?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Young boy called him the Keeper of Souls. That was his nickname. Good headline, isn't it? Nice turn of phrase for a sick pervert like him. Excuse me.
Is Parker Jones going to be charged?